General Motors CEO Mary Barra has made the stunning announcement to shut down the company's ambitious self-driving and robotaxi projects under the Cruise brand, signaling a dramatic withdrawal from the intense autonomous vehicle race. This marks a major turning point for GM, which poured billions into Cruise after acquiring it for $1 billion in 2016, touting the technology as a cornerstone of its future. However, the closure follows mounting financial losses, a series of safety controversies, and a regulatory crackdown that severely damaged Cruise's credibility. The decision raises serious concerns about GM's capacity to innovate and remain competitive with Elon Musk's Tesla in this rapidly evolving mobility landscape. Shockingly, the fallout from this move is rippling across the entire industry, and it's already impacting GM's partners and investors. General Motors originally purchased Cruise Automation, a small under 50-person company developing autonomous vehicle software, for $1 billion. At the time, GM President Dan Ammann, who later became Cruise's CEO in 2019, recognized that fully autonomous vehicles can bring our customers enormous benefits in terms of greater convenience, lower cost, and improved safety for their daily mobility needs. The co-founder of Cruise, Kyle Vogt, who is also the co-founder of popular video game streaming service Twitch, also joined General Motors along with co-founder Dan Kahn as senior directors. Kyle Vogt was very excited about the acquisition, citing that GM's commitment to autonomous vehicles is inspiring, deliberate, and completely in line with our vision to make transportation safer and more accessible. We are excited to be partnering with GM and believe this is a groundbreaking and necessary step toward rapidly commercializing autonomous vehicle technology. The deal would essentially be complementing Cruise's automation software expertise with GM's deep pockets and ability to manufacture vehicles that would ultimately be fitted with the necessary autonomous driving hardware. However, in December 2021, the situation started to get out of hand. The head of Cruise, Dan Ammann, was fired from General Motors due to strategic disagreements with GM CEO Mary Barra. Ammann was said to have had ambitions to build out Cruise's robotaxi business rather than sharing its autonomy technology with other GM brands. Additionally, there was a conflict regarding Cruise's path forward. Ammann favored taking Cruise public through an IPO to attract top talent, while GM wanted to keep Cruise within its corporate structure. These points of contention over the company's direction and strategy led to his departure, with Kyle Vogt taking his place as interim CEO and then ultimately the CEO of Cruise. But then in 2023, Kyle Vogt stepped down amidst a storm of safety scandals and regulatory crackdowns. His resignation came shortly after Cruise halted public road testing of its autonomous vehicles due to safety incidents, including a tragic case in San Francisco where a pedestrian was struck and a Cruise vehicle failed to react appropriately. This led to Cruise's license being suspended in California. Regulatory scrutiny and operational issues had further compounded the division's struggles. Even just 1 month ago, the Washington Post reported that Cruise paid a $500,000 fine after withholding details from federal investigators in a 2023 crash. And thus, just days ago, on December 10, 2024, General Motors has decided to no longer fund Cruise's robotaxi development, effectively pulling the plug on the commercial aspects of the robotaxi service. Since GM's purchase of Cruise in 2016, they've invested over $10 billion into the automated driving company. However, this is a sunk cost, with money that's already been spent. But even going forward, GM believes that Cruise's robotaxi development work will still require considerable time and resources that would be needed to scale the business. One would think that General Motors would have already known all of this for years now. In 2023 alone, Cruise lost $3.48 billion. And just this year in June, GM sunk another $850 million into Cruise. The decision to shut it down will save GM more than $1 billion annually in costs, but it represents a write-off of future revenue from what was projected to be a $50 billion business by 2030. CFRA analyst Garrett Nelson downgraded GM from $50 to $45 per share with a sell rating, citing that it's a black eye for the credibility of GM management that, as recently as last year, told investors that Cruise's business could generate $50 billion in annual revenue by 2030. So investors have been banking on Cruise as a key growth vertical for the firm. Of course they will save money shutting it down, but this has profound implications, pulling out of what investors believed was a massive opportunity for the company. If large investments aren't made, then there won't be any return. Tesla, for instance, can shut down its Model Y business and the savings would be unimaginable, but the company also won't make current or future revenue. Instead, GM will fold Cruise's operations into its broader Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, or ADAS development, but folding it up into ADAS may not age well either. An ADAS solution seems like a pointless initiative in a world trending towards fully self-driving cars. The software of an autonomous system would ultimately know how to drive a car more safely than a human in a very broad sense. Even if a human was driving, this software would be able to monitor and correct for dangerous maneuvers. This is far more advanced than ADAS, which focuses on automating problem subsets, such as automatic braking, for instance, or steering back into a lane. And therefore, companies relying solely on ADAS will be outmatched by autonomous software, rendering them fairly useless. General Motors says that their strategic shift aims to leverage Cruise's technology for enhancing personal vehicles rather than running a separate robotaxi service. This is a little weird because a robotaxi service is where the money is at, whereas enhancing personal vehicles may only add little incremental revenue to each vehicle's sale. It's also strange that in its remarks, GM called out an increasingly competitive robotaxi market. It's estimated that robotaxis could be worth $11 trillion as early as 2026, according to research by investment firm ARK Invest. But today the robotaxi market is virtually non-existent and doesn't even come close to scratching the surface of that $11 trillion. Yet General Motors believes that robotaxis have become too competitive. This may instead be interpreted a different way, which is that now that they've seen what Tesla's recent update, a full self-driving version 13, is capable of, and the legacy automakers have even been impressed by it, even BMW called it out before deleting their post, but they now realize that it will be impossible to catch up to Tesla. Elon Musk believes that all cars will eventually be autonomous, which has pushed Tesla to develop this expensive but worthwhile solution. And this problem is extremely difficult to solve, demonstrated by GM now backing away from the challenge. The other major player in the space is Google's Waymo, which is already planning to expand to new cities, such as Miami. And Waymo has been hitting fresh targets, such as 150,000 paid trips per week, which may have also turned off General Motors. Despite Waymo's achievements, the company still lost roughly $3.3 billion in the first 9 months of 2024 alone. George Hotz, the founder of Comma AI, a competitor in the autonomous driving space, which has over 10,000 active users, noted that Google's massive profits can essentially subsidize Waymo for as long as they want, even if the company loses boatloads of money. But Hotz also called Waymo a teleop, meaning that it's relying heavily on remote operation, and said that they don't actually have self-driving cars. Waymo's vehicles rely on LiDAR and fully mapped roads in order to operate. Hotz once called it a line-following robot. It's essentially automated driving rather than what Tesla and Comma AI are working on, which is an end-to-end autonomous solution powered by AI that can drive in any scenario, not just on mapped roads. The problem with fully mapped roads is that they can change at any time, and the vehicle won't be able to adapt. That's why Tesla isn't worried, because this will hinder Waymo's expansion, as they only have roughly 700 vehicles on the road today, while Tesla already has millions of vehicles, and once the software gets to be better than a human, they could push the latest version over the air to their cars. With Cruise pulling out of the self-driving race, analyst Gene Munster is viewing this as a winner-take-all or winner-take-most situation, as competitors keep dropping out. Ford and Volkswagen, for instance, lost billions of dollars shutting down their self-driving project, Argo AI, back in 2022. Munster believes that Tesla and Waymo will be the winners here. But George Hotz sees it differently. He agrees that Tesla is by far the leader, but views his own company as being in second place. The reason being that Comma uses an AI solution just like Tesla, and so he's disregarding the long-term potential of these companies using LiDAR, maps, and automated driving. Not only that, but as an aside, he also calls out the humanoid robot market, which he believes will play out in the same way as robotaxis. Investors will waste billions of dollars on robot startups and trying to automate tasks, but in the end, they're up against an autonomous AI-powered solution like Tesla's. Tesla has been investing billions of dollars into hardware and AI in order to win the robotaxi market. Their Cortex data center in Giga, Texas has 50,000 GPUs. They're also building a Dojo supercomputer, and Tesla makes its own inference chips for use inside the vehicle. Tesla also has a talented AI team, and the company is set on making autonomy core to Tesla's business, unlike General Motors. No other player, be it Volkswagen, Toyota, Ford, GM, etc., has made even remotely the kinds of investments in technology, hardware, and software that Tesla has. Indeed, it's expensive, but the winners could dominate what will be an extremely lucrative market. Imagine making software-like margins on every single trip or ride that each of your customers takes. If General Motors no longer believes that autonomy is part of their core business, then they should immediately license FSD from Tesla. It generally takes automakers years to make hardware changes to their vehicles. If GM starts now, it could have autonomous Tesla-powered vehicles by say 2027, and Elon Musk is open to it. This would be a win-win for Tesla and GM, with General Motors having nothing to lose here. They already outsourced most of the car anyway, so this is nothing new for them. As a matter of fact, GM joined up with Tesla's NACS standard, which was quickly adopted by the entire industry for charging. The same thing may happen with Tesla's FSD. Tesla can sell them the hardware and provide OTA software updates for free to GM customers. GM's vehicles will then have autonomy, and GM can pass the costs on to its customers, but it will make the vehicles more valuable and keep them relevant. Tesla would benefit immensely as well, since now all of GM's new customers will be able to use the Tesla network, which increases Tesla's virtual fleet of cars, and they get a small cut from every ride used as part of the robotaxi service. Partnering with Tesla may be the only way GM gets out of this mess. Cruise was supposed to be a competitor to FSD, and now it's been removed from the game, leaving Tesla with an even larger playing field with more potential customers. Honda was betting on Cruise as well, and they're out of luck too. As a matter of fact, Honda is also a minority investor in Cruise. They've invested up to $2.75 billion into the failed project, and so the losses aren't confined to General Motors. GM brought on numerous investors to invest into Cruise, including Microsoft, Walmart, SoftBank, T. Rowe Price, and Honda. SoftBank stands to lose up to $2.25 billion that it invested, and even Microsoft just announced an $800 million write-down due to the fallout of Cruise. General Motors' decision to abandon Cruise's robotaxi project not only closes the chapter on its self-driving dreams, but also leaves Tesla with a clear runway in the race for autonomous dominance. As Cruise founder Kyle Vogt bluntly put it, GM are a bunch of dummies, encapsulating the sentiment surrounding this dramatic collapse. Yet this could be GM's last chance to reclaim relevance by partnering with Tesla. Licensing Tesla's groundbreaking full self-driving technology could transform GM's lineup, bridging the gap to autonomy while turning a colossal failure into a bold pivot. The stakes are higher than ever, and GM's next move could redefine its future or seal its fate. So do you think with GM exiting the robotaxi race and others like Ford and Volkswagen stepping back as well, is the autonomous vehicle industry heading toward a winner-takes-all scenario dominated by Tesla and perhaps Waymo? Or is there still room for new competitors to emerge? And is GM's decision to focus on advanced driver assistance systems or ADAS rather than full autonomy a strategic retreat? Or does it signal a fundamental misunderstanding of where the industry is heading? Don't forget to watch my last video on Elon Musk trying to bankrupt Bill Gates. Be sure to follow me on X at TMIOTesla. Please hit the like button and subscribe. We would really appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our patrons that help to support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.